Welcome back, y'all. So today's video is going to be different from the ones I normally make. If you've been online the past week or so, you may have noticed a lot of people talking about the Schlep situation. For those of y'all who have no idea what I'm talking about, Schlep is a well-known YouTuber who dedicates his channel to catching Roblox predators, as well as calling out different developers and creators who make inappropriate content on the Roblox platform. In addition to that, he's very vocal when it comes to terrible decisions Roblox makes and how little they do when it comes to moderating their platform. However, Schlep was recently banned off the Roblox platform and sent a cease and desist by Roblox. In summary, the notice stated that the work Schlep does is unauthorized and harmful activity, and that it violates Roblox policies and undermines Roblox safety efforts. Which, I'm gonna be honest, I find it a little bit funny that they said this. In my personal opinion, things have gotten worse, and Roblox has become very lax about what they allow on the platform, even when it clearly violates their policies. And that's an opinion coming from somebody who no longer allows their child to play Roblox. Anyways, the notice pretty much says that even though Schlep's intentions are to protect children, they don't like what he's doing, and he's exposing users to increased risk by engaging in simulated child endangerment conversations, sharing or soliciting personally identifiable information, and directing users to move conversation off the platform. Mind y'all, these are things that Schlep has done to successfully catch predators on the Roblox platform, which led to 6 arrests. Now, the reason a lot of people are talking about this situation is because it makes Roblox look terrible. And unfortunately, it does come off to people in and outside of the Roblox community as them protecting predators. So in today's video, I want to talk about the Roblox problem. I'll definitely go more in depth about the Schlep situation later on in the video, but I also want to talk about the Teddy situation that happened in the summer, because in my opinion, I believe this is the catalyst that led to Roblox banning people like Schlep and creating a policy against vigilantes. I also want to talk about a lot of issues I have with Roblox regarding parental controls and things I've seen around the platform that assured me that Roblox is one of the most unsafe spaces for children to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and start off with the first section. Back in June of 2025, Roblox started promoting a new egg hunt event called The Hatch. To build up hype, Roblox sent different Roblox creators boxes with special eggs inside. They also stated that 1,000 games were going to be featured this time around. Honestly, the promotion for The Hatch was pretty solid and it got a lot of players excited. However, there were a lot of concerns from developers stating that they didn't have enough time to prepare for the event. But this isn't the reason why The Hatch was considered controversial. The main reason why the entire event fell apart is because of one bad decision Roblox made. The community quickly found out that the developer named TheOfficialTeddy, who's known for creating dating and condo games, was invited to participate. For those of y'all who don't know what these types of games are, they're pretty much NSFW games where anyone can join, which is gross considering Roblox is a kids platform. Not only did Teddy create these types of games, but he's been alleged to have been participating in these types of games as well. So to say the least, he's a very dangerous individual that shouldn't be on the platform, let alone invited to an event that would draw more attention to his disgusting games. In response to Teddy being a part of The Hatch, the Roblox community began boycotting the event. Some of the biggest games such as Pressure, Piggy, Doors, and 3008 decided to no longer participate, which eventually led to more games dropping out. There were also content creators not wanting to participate or promote the event until Roblox took action. During this boycott, some of the most vocal voices were Rowcatchers, a YouTuber named Green Lego Cats 123, and Schlep. They provided a ton of evidence showing that Teddy was in fact a dangerous individual that needed to be banned from the platform. However, as the days went by, Roblox stayed silent and the outrage grew stronger. People started to believe that Roblox would not take action and Teddy would get away with everything. But finally, on June 30th, Roblox made a statement. Here are the highlights. After completing a thorough internal investigation, we've removed TheOfficialTeddy from the platform and made the experience he created unplayable. We asked the creator to make changes to the experience to comply with our standards regarding user abuse with experiences, and they were able to comply within our timeline. However, in the course of our investigation, we also confirmed a separate outstanding policy violation that cannot be rectified. As a result, the user behind TheOfficialTeddy and the groups they own are no longer permitted on Roblox. At Roblox, safety is foundational to everything we do. That's why we take reports of harmful content and behavior seriously, and we investigate them thoroughly. It can take time to investigate properly, and we're always working to make this process more efficient while maintaining our high standards for fairness. Honestly, I'm happy Roblox actually removed Teddy from the platform. However, I do find it weird that they asked him to make changes to his games rather than just banning him. Just as a reminder, all the games that Teddy made are NSFW and should have never existed on a kid's platform. This is definitely an individual who had malicious intent behind the games he created and should have not been given the benefit of the doubt. Anyways, after Teddy got banned, people were still side-eyeing Roblox, and I heard the Hatch event was trash. With that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the next section of the video. On August 7th of 2025, Roblox published an article called How Roblox Partners with Law Enforcement. In the article, they talk about how they work with law enforcement and how to report dangerous users, but there's one section that caught the community's attention. In the section titled Vigilante Groups, it says, "Law enforcement professionals are best positioned to investigate potential crimes. Therefore, we want to be sure that any violations on Roblox are reported and acted upon through the proper channels." So this part doesn't sound bad. Obviously, the way to get justice for survivors and stop predators is to work with law enforcement. But the next part is what shocked the entire community. Unfortunately, there are cases of vigilante groups or individuals violating our policies to entrap users or otherwise self-police the platform. While these groups may appear to have the public interest at heart, they are in fact acting in ways that could be harmful to others, both on and out of the platform. Actions taken by vigilante groups increase the risk of more users being exposed to bad actors and can delay enforcement efforts by both Roblox and law enforcement. Any account, including those of vigilante groups or individuals caught violating our policies, will face consequences up to and including removal and banning where warranted. So this section of the article is pretty much aimed at creators like Schlep who catch predators on Roblox. Now, before I continue, I do want to say one thing. There have been instances where a creator fakes catching predators for views, or they don't work directly with law enforcement to get the predator caught. Unfortunately, there are creators that focus on the fame and fortune and don't actually care to have these dangerous individuals locked up. However, I do believe there are people who genuinely care about keeping children safe and work hard to get bad actors locked up. One of these people is Schlep, who has successfully gotten 6 Roblox predators arrested. So when Roblox decided to terminate his accounts and ban him from the platform, everyone was speechless. Schlep posted the cease and desist on Twitter, which I talked about a little bit earlier, but they pretty much painted Schlep as being an enemy to the community, even though he's done nothing wrong. But I guess in Roblox's eyes, bringing any negative attention and calling them out for their lack of safety concerns is harmful. This whole situation comes off as Roblox wanting to silence people like Schlep and prevent them from further exposing the dangers of the platform. But what Roblox failed to consider is that people actually like the fact that predators were being caught. And it seems like their dear investors also agree this was a bad decision. The decision to ban Schlep off the platform also led to a lot of Roblox star creators leaving the program, such as Creekcraft, Cube Inc., Remainings, and Soyluz. Now, I know some people watching might be like, okay, now what? It's not gonna change anything. But y'all, the free Schlep movement spread like wildfire. So many big creators have been talking about this over on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter. Even Chris Hansen, yes, the Chris Hansen from To Catch a Predator, is working on a project where him and his team investigate the child exploitation on Roblox. And he states he spoke with Schlep regarding the situation. And believe it or not, this situation even caught the attention of politicians. Now, there's one more big thing that happened that I know Roblox is definitely not happy about, and it's that the state of Louisiana is suing Roblox. Attorney General Liz Morrell made a statement saying, "Today I'm suing Roblox, the #1 gaming site for children and teens and a breeding ground for predators. Due to Roblox's lack of safety protocols, it endangers the safety of children of Louisiana. Roblox is overrun with harmful content and child predators because it prioritizes user growth, revenue, and profits over child safety. Every parent should be aware of the clear and present danger posed to their children by Roblox so they can prevent the unthinkable from ever happening in their own home." Now, before we get to Roblox's response, I just want to say I really love how the community came together on on this matter. In my opinion, I believe Roblox would have preferred if this whole situation could have been swept under the rug, but the community didn't allow that to happen, and now they're finally being held accountable for their lack of safety efforts. With that being said, let's go ahead and discuss Roblox's response. On August 15th of 2025, Roblox posted a 43-minute video on YouTube talking about safety initiatives. I know a lot of people are probably not going to watch the entire thing. No worries though, I watched the entire video and took notes on what was the most important parts. The first part of the video talked about trusted connections. This is a feature on Roblox that allows players 13 and up to have unfiltered text chat and unfiltered voice chat. In order for the player to receive this type of access, they need to go through AI age estimation, which requires the user to take a picture and the AI guesses your age. In my personal opinion, this is already concerning. If I'm being 100% honest, asking AI to do age estimation sounds really dumb. Not only do people not look their age half the time, but an AI system can be flawed and it could lead to some dangerous situations. I don't know, it just sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. In the next part of the video, they talked about vigilantism. Based off what they're saying, they were okay with these groups at first because their messages had good meaning and they would spread the word around and communicate about safety concerns, which led Roblox into adding certain things into their moderation system. But then they saw these groups engaging with users in the community in a way that violated Roblox policy. They mainly focused on the fact that vigilante groups would pretend to be children, ask people in the chat their age, and try to find someone who was an adult in order to see if they were a predator. Now this next part confused me a bit. In the video, Roblox stated that these type of people would make videos, report the activity to the police, and then tell Roblox about it. They're basically saying they didn't like the fact that these users wouldn't report the activity to them first. Now in Schlep's video talking about the lawsuit, he told his story about how he was a victim of grooming. I highly recommend y'all check this video out to hear his story, but he stated that his mom contacted Roblox and they brushed her off. So there is history of predator activity going on and Roblox not caring or just sitting on the information. Also, I feel like it's contradicting for them to say it's difficult for them to verify video evidence, but also be like, well, why didn't you come to us about this? They say in the video it's too hard for them to verify the legitimacy of the video evidence that people provide to them, basically saying it can be AI generated or just fake. So if that's the case, it's best to just go straight to law enforcement. I'm not saying that people shouldn't report things directly to Roblox, but it makes sense if a crime happens online and you have information to back it up, you might as well report it to the police, especially when it comes to something as serious as grooming. That's something that I believe needs to be handled immediately in order to prevent the predator from continuing to offend. Later on in the video, Roblox talks about private spaces, aka NSFW games. They said some of the games violate policy while others don't, and they're planning on adding a community safety council in the near future. They also talked about games like Meep City, where people are always asking for it to get taken down due to inappropriate activity. They said in games like these, the players are to blame for the inappropriate content, and they want to be fair to developers and not take down the game over what users are doing, which I personally feel is a cop-out. If the developers are aware of what's happening, why not make changes to the game to prevent this type of behavior? I'm not saying that developers can control everything, but I know they can make changes to prevent bad actors from ruining the experiences for others. At some point, the developer's negligence has to be called out. Roblox stated that they use something called bad scenes detection in order to see if there's anything harmful happening in a game, and then they work with developers so they can make updates to fix the issue. But just a few days ago, I saw Creekcraft get on Meep City, and immediately there was NSFW on the screen. And the very last thing that Roblox talked about is something called Roblox Sentinel. This is a new model that looks for long-term behavior patterns which result in violations of Roblox policies. So the model tries to detect suspicious behavior regarding who users are friending, what games they're playing, what types of messages they're sending, all to determine if there is malicious intent there that isn't noticeable at first glance and remove bad actors from the community. Personally, I feel like some of the changes Roblox is planning on implementing are actually good, such as Roblox Sentinel and bad scenes detection. But then they turn around and go, oh hey, so instead of banning NSFW games, we're just gonna make them 17+. First First off, a 17-year-old is not an adult, so why are we trying to allow them to have access to these types of games? Secondly, why is Roblox so focused on adding dating to the platform and also making it 17 plus? I feel like intersecting adult content and kids content in one place is just not the move. And when Roblox makes decisions like this, it makes players and creators look really bad. Like if you're an adult and you tell your friend that you play Roblox, they're either gonna go, "What is that?" or they're gonna look at you really weird. And it's because Roblox has such a bad rep, and it doesn't help that they make weird decisions like adding dating and allowing NSFW on the platform. With that being said though, let's go ahead and move on to the very last section of the video. So I've been playing Roblox since I believe 2022, and the reason I started playing is because my daughter mentioned it to me and I thought it would be fine for her to play. I eventually would get on with her and start playing games here and there. At first everything seemed fine, but I remember one day entering a game she liked playing where you could dress up. It was all innocent at first, but then I saw a user asking in the chat if someone wanted to do something in the game. And then these users started doing something inappropriate and I made my daughter get off the game. After that, I stopped allowing her to play for a while because I felt like it wasn't safe. And during that time, there weren't any parental control settings, so you couldn't even restrict your kids' access to what they can and can't do. Eventually, when Roblox added parental control settings, I started allowing her to play again. The problem though is that the parental controls at the time were very basic. You had the option to prevent your kids from playing games that were for certain age groups, which is now called content maturity. The flaw with this feature is that some developers don't rate their games properly. I've seen so many games that are labeled as minimal, but the actual gameplay is not appropriate for all ages. And what I found more annoying is that Roblox didn't have an option to block certain experiences. However, they did recently add this feature. But if we're being honest, no matter how many games you block, your kids will eventually find a game that isn't safe, which is very unfortunate. Another issue I have with Roblox parental control is the turning off the chat feature. In theory, it's great because you keep your kids from chatting with random people, but there's a workaround for it. If a kid enters a game like Brookhaven and they have the chat feature off, they can still communicate with other players by using the picket sign. Or if they join a game like Face Animations, kids can use the role-playing name and description feature to talk with other players, which I'm 100% sure predators are aware of this. I'm not exactly sure what the best solution for this is. Maybe there needs to be a way to prevent users who don't have the chat feature on from using their keyboard, and maybe just allowing the keyboard to be used when searching for games. Now I know what some of y'all are thinking. At the end of the day, parents are responsible for their kids and they should pay attention to what they're doing, which I 100% agree with. But that doesn't mean that Roblox shouldn't focus on fixing their moderation. That also doesn't mean that parents should allow their kids to play Roblox without being monitored. I think I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I know it's really hard being a parent. The majority of us work full-time jobs to keep our children fed and to provide them a bright future. So when we get home, we don't always have the energy or mental capacity to sit down and play with our kids. So the easiest solution is to give them a tablet and tell them to go play for a little bit so you can catch your breath. But if we're being honest, anything can happen in those few minutes your kid's in another room playing. It's okay if a parent wants to allow their kids to play Roblox, but please take the time to talk with your children about online safety. Let them know they shouldn't give out personal information like their age, address, or name. And if they ever feel unsafe on the platform, they should let you know what's going on. Before I end this video, I did want to talk about why I decided to make this. Of course, I wanted to talk about the Schlep situation in order to spread awareness, but as someone who was groomed online and in real life, I felt like I needed to talk about this because this isn't something you easily recover from. This is life-altering for most people, and trust me when I say there are things that still haunt me to this day. And those memories hurt more now, knowing that I have a daughter and I never want her to go through what I did. So parents, please keep your baby safe. And lastly, free Schlep.